guys, welcome back to my channel if you are new here. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my pros and cons and essentially my final review of Abeka's preschool curriculum. So if you guys have been around my channel for a while, you know that we've been using Abeka's preschool curriculum for almost 2 years now. We started it when my daughter was 2.5. We started the 2-year-old program. We are now doing the 3-year-old program. And as of the day I am filming this, we are starting our 2nd semester. So we are more than halfway done halfway done the entire 3-year-old program. So at this point, I felt confident to come out here and give you all my final review and like my final pros and cons list of this curriculum. So a little background on us. As I said, my daughter was 2.5 when we started using this. She was almost completely nonverbal. She had started speech therapy in May and we started this in September. So she had only had a couple of months of speech therapy when we started doing this and has quickly learned. So that's just a little background on where we started. Where we are now, she knows her letters, her numbers, her letter sounds, shapes, colors. She can spell her name, she can write her name. And of course, none of that was being done before. So just to give you a reference of where we started and where we are, that's it. So if you see me looking this way, it's because I have my notes up on my computer screen. I'm trying out like using it like a teleprompter. So if you see my eyes going, it's because I'm looking at that. And also if I sound like I'm dying, it's because I might be. I woke up so congested and so full of like, who knows what, and like, you know, if I sound like I'm dying, it's because I might be. I just feel like horrible today. So excuse that. And if you notice, I paused to like go get sips of water or anything, you notice weird cuts. That's what I was doing. I was going to drink water so I don't sound like a man. But basically the way I did this video is I broke it up into 5 pros and 5 cons. And I'm just gonna go over them with you. Keep in mind that some of what are pros for me and some of what were cons for me may not be the same for you. So this is from my perspective as a new homeschool mom. Madison is my only child, so I had never done this before, and how it worked out for us. So I'm gonna start with the pros because that just seems right. And my first pro is that it was very easy to open and go. There was really no need to prep. Like I don't have to sit here for hours and prep a curriculum. I don't have to think about like, what am I gonna say? It's all scripted. You can read it verbatim if you want to. I do tend to paraphrase. But if you are really that uncomfortable with it, and I'm pretty sure I did this the first few months, you can literally open it to the page. I'm gonna grab a book, hold on. Today we're doing Australia. So you can open it up to the page and literally just read this, and that is your lesson. So it is very easy, open and go. And as a new homeschool mom who had 0 experience with this, and was also kind of intimidated by the idea, who had never thought of homeschooling, who had never been homeschooled, it's really nice to be able to just open it and read it and go and know you're getting the full solid lesson. So that is my first pro, was that it overcame the intimidation factor for me by being so easy to just read and know that you have the full lesson. Number 2 is that it is an all-inclusive curriculum. What I mean by that is I didn't have to buy 100 different things from different companies to make a full curriculum. I didn't have to sit down and go, well, she needs to learn her letters, she needs to learn her shapes, she needs to learn her numbers. I didn't have to think of each individual thing. And even in the future, if we were using this for older grades, you don't have to think, okay, well, I need math, I need science, I need social studies, I need English. It's just all there. And I personally really like that, especially at this level where I'm not really solid and comfortable with what I know they need to learn. I'm not 100% solid with like knowing what they need to learn. I know what's important, but I'm glad that this was kind of all in one. When you ordered, sorry, my camera keeps going out of focus. I don't know what's going on. When you ordered the preschool stuff, you can just search by age on their website and everything you need pops right up. And it is everything. It has letters, it has math, it has language arts, stuff that I never would have thought of teaching. So I really like that it can be an all-inclusive, and even in older grades, you can buy the full bundle and get every subject you need. So I really appreciated that at this stage in my homeschool career and in our homeschool life. I appreciated having that be so easy to just, all right, go to this website, click these boxes, got it done. Got what I need. No, I have everything that I need. In the future, we might not do that. In the future, we might not do the big box, and we might do individual subjects from individual companies. But at this point, it was really nice and an easy way to start. Number 3 is that I felt like it was extremely age appropriate, and that the amount of time it took me to do this with her was age appropriate. And this is talking about the parent-led lessons that I am doing currently. It's not talking about any of the older grades. It is not talking about the video lessons. This is purely talking about the parent-led preschool. I can do this curriculum daily with her in probably 15 minutes if I really want to. Now, this video is not about the Bible curriculum. I don't feel like I have enough experience about that to really talk about it right yet. By the end of the year, I feel like I will. The curriculum itself, the standard preschool curriculum, I can go through the list of what needs to be done, and it can be done in 10, 15, 20 minutes, somewhere in there, depending on how amenable my child is to listening. So I think that is an age-appropriate amount of time for her to be paying attention. I know I've heard people say it's however many years old they are, they pay attention for that many minutes. That has not been my experience with my daughter, personally. So that's not what I go off of, because it's not. My daughter has a longer attention span than that. But I find 15 minutes, 20 minutes is kind of our max. So I like that this is able to be done that quickly, and that it's not something that's going to take me an hour every day unless I want it to. And there's something else that I do like about this. I can also beef it up. There are activities listed. There are also, you can add in more books, more reading, that kind of stuff. And I could boost this out longer to closer to an hour or 2 or 3 if I really wanted to. I don't know why you'd want to do that with a 3-year-old. Just saying, I wouldn't do it. So I tend to do this in around the 20-minute area, and then I start giving her options. Do you want to read a book, or do you want to go play? Sometimes she'll pick a book. Quite often she'll pick a book. So I like that the core main parts of the curriculum can be done very quickly. The next thing that I have, this is my number 4 pro, is that their customer service is on point. They have always been so fast at answering when I've messaged them, if you message them on Facebook or email them. They have been so fast to answer my questions, concerns, where's my package, like anything like that. They have been so fast at answering. They also have, and I don't know if these are directly affiliated with Abeka. I don't think they are, but maybe I'm wrong. But they have very active Facebook groups. So there is a Abeka Moms group, and there's an Abeka Moms Chit Chat group. And they are both extremely active. If you ask a question there, you will get answers within minutes. So to me, I really appreciate being able to have that community to reach out to with questions, concerns, something that I noticed, whatever. Sometimes even if there's just an error in the like parent guide, asking there like, yeah, am I doing this math right? Like, I know I'm smarter than a 3-year-old, but I'm doing this right? And this is wrong. And you see so many of those, and I love it. So I like that they have a very solid Facebook group and solid customer service to answer questions. My last pro, my number 5 pro, and this was kind of a struggle. Like, I felt like I got stuck at 4 on both pros and cons. I got stuck at number 4. So my 5th pro for us is that it's worked really well for us. As I said, my daughter was nonverbal. She was not talking. She did not even say mama when we started doing this. And now she has a full vocabulary, and she pulls out words that I'm like, where did you learn that? And she'll come in here and show it to me in the curriculum and be like, you said it yesterday. So I love that. She's learned about crocodiles and alligators and all these different animals, and she's just learned so much. She's learned all of her numbers. She can recognize all the numbers that she's supposed to at this point in this curriculum, which I believe is, we're on 9 right now. I think this year goes to 15. She can recognize all of those, and she can count to 20 pretty much. She gets stuck on 15 for some reason. I don't know why. She goes 14, 16. We're working on 15 existing. I don't know. We're working on it. But everything she's been expected to do, she has been able to do, and she has learned so much. Even above and beyond, I think, what the curriculum has expected her to learn, she has learned. Like I said, if I hand her a pen, she will write her name. We have not learned the formation of every letter yet, but she'll write her name for you. So I think that is really cool, and it's been really awesome to like watch her blossom and bloom and grow. And I do think this curriculum has been a big part of that for us. Okay, now we're on to my 5 cons. And this is really where I'm going to caution everyone, just like, don't take this with a grain of salt. Take it as it being my opinion. If you are in love with this curriculum and you think it has no flaws and no cons, you do you. And if it's working for you, that is amazing. And as I've said, it works well for us. So I did want to share cons because I have found a few that would make me debate using this curriculum in the future. I'm going to be honest. But if they're not cons for you, that's great. My number 1 con, and these are not actually in order of like the worst. It's just how I came up with them when I was making my list. My number 1 con is the price. I do feel that for preschool, this was very pricey. And the priciest part was these cards like this. So there are 3 packs of cards this size. As you can see, I mean, it's bigger than my head. It's probably about the size of like a small poster board. And there's 3 packs of these. They were decently expensive. I think they were about $40 a pack, $40 each, somewhere around there. So those were definitely an investment. I will say you do use them 2 years in a row. So maybe that takes away a little bit on the investment price of it. I don't have the exact prices written down. I did not think to look them up. But I know I spent well over $100 this year, and we already had those cards. Or I spent probably around $100 this year. And last year, I know I had spent more than that. So for being a curriculum for a 2 and a 3-year-old, I think $200+ is probably on the pricier side. Looking at next year, it's definitely much pricier. We have decided to use their curriculum next year, but it was definitely a jump up in price. So that is my one of my cons, is that it is an expensive curriculum compared to other options. Number 2, this curriculum is not very flexible, in my opinion. At least the preschool, it is done in weeks. I know in older grades it's done by lesson, but in this grade it is done by the week. And each week is based around a certain letter. So it's almost, no, it's not almost, it is extremely difficult to take a Monday holiday or a Friday off. It's extremely difficult to do because that work, if you put it into the next week, if you just kind of push it a day and go into the next week, it gets kind of just thrown off and wonky. So that's one thing I do wish, is that it was more flexible and more able to bend and mold, especially being for such young children who aren't necessarily required to be in school. I feel like it could have had more leeway and flexibility. And with that also goes, there was very little flexibility of when you start. It very much expects you to start in September. I actually did the math because I was getting really frustrated. And it seems like it expects you to start on Labor Day, like on that Monday. And we start our homeschool earlier than that. I'm sure a lot of families do. We start in July personally. And because we started so much earlier than they wanted us to, we've already done Christmas. Our Christmas activities and our Christmas stories and all of the Christmas crafts and that kind of stuff that's made into the curriculum, we've already done it. We did it in October. So I do wish that was more flexible, where either it wasn't worked into the curriculum, the holidays weren't so ingrained in it, and there weren't, like, the arts weren't holiday related. It had an option to like move this entire lesson to the week of whatever holiday. Like, I wish you could, because right now it's all based on letters. So you learn L, you learn M. Let's say M is Christmas. You can't really just pick M up and move it. Like, you're not gonna go LN. That's weird. So that's been one of my biggest issues, is that the holidays just don't line up. So we're doing the holidays in the wrong time of year. And not only is that confusing, it's also, you know, you're not really in the spirit of doing Christmas stuff. You're not in the spirit of doing Valentine's Day stuff in December. Everything like that. It just doesn't really seem to line up well unless you start exactly when they want you to. My number 3 con is that it can be extremely repetitive, which I know at this age is how kids learn. But if there is something that your child does not like, it's happening over and over again. Like, my daughter hates to color. She hates it. I have tried sitting with her, doing it with her, coloring books next to her. She just does not enjoy coloring. But every single day, there's coloring pages. Every single day. And yes, I've gotten to the point where I have reinvented them. Sorry if I just took all of my foundation off my nose. I've gotten to the point where I have said, you know, let's paint this, let's glue felt to this, whatever, stuff like that. And that works to an extent. I don't know, it still doesn't really get rid of the redundancy of having 1+ coloring pages every single day. Some days there's multiple coloring pages in a day. It's a lot of coloring. If you don't like coloring, it's a lot. So I would just complain that it's kind of repetitive, and each week has the exact same rhythm, which can be a negative or positive. Like, I like that for me. For me, that makes it way easier to schedule and to plan and to be ready for. For her, it feels like it gets a little boring. But yeah, that is one of the cons of this curriculum that I have found. It's just the same activities repeat over and over and over and over again. But she learns from it, so it works. It's just maybe not fun. My number 4 con, and this could totally be contingent on COVID, and I know a lot of companies have been having this issue, but I have found you have to order your curriculum extremely early. Like, you can't wait until you finish this year to make up your mind what you want to use next year. If you don't order by, I would say, like April or May, there's backlogs. Stuff is back ordered. Like, it's really messy. This year, I had ordered all of this well before we needed it, thankfully. But I decided to add Bible on at the last minute. So I ended up ordering Bible in June, I think. And it took 3 weeks to get here. After that, I realized we needed one of the CDs that I hadn't grabbed originally. And I ordered that. We started school in July, and I ordered it our first day of school. I ordered it July, and it took almost a month to get to me. And here's the kicker. I'm in the same state. I'm less than 5 hours from where their stuff ships from. My normal shipping time with Abeka is 2 days. Usually it's here within 2 days. So I know there's a lot going on in the world right now. I know there's a lot more kids homeschooling. But for me, that is a con, that you don't really have the option of finishing up what you're doing this year to see if it worked or not for you fully before you have to think of what to order for next year. Thankfully, I am a planner, and I do tend to order ahead of time. But for anyone who waits until, you know, the summertime to order their curriculum, they're gonna have a problem getting their curriculum. Here comes the dog. Hi, Cassie. Your bed's over here. And my last con is that this was very, very obviously written for a classroom. Sorry, my dog's sneaking into our bed. This was very obviously written for a classroom and not a homeschool parent. If you look at some of the activities, and this is where I see it the most, it's actually in the activities, but most of them are very contingent on having more than one pupil. They're form a circle and, you know, share. take turns, that kind of stuff that we can't really do in our homeschool. Like, yeah, her and I can take turns. Okay. But in the grand scheme of things, it's much more suited for a classroom environment than a homeschool environment in the activities. I've had to modify a lot of the ones that we have done, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't do them all. There's a lot, and a lot of them involve food, and food that I won't eat. So I'm not gonna buy it to make her try it. If it's just gonna go to waste, then I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, a lot of the activities, the ones that we have done, I've had to modify because they do talk about, like, you know, having your classroom in a group, call them up individually, have the child point and another child say type of deal. We can't do that with only one kid. So that is my last con, is that it was very obviously written for a classroom and has not been completely modified to be written for a homeschool environment. But that is the end of my pros and cons. I will answer one last question that I keep getting, and I get this every time I talk about Abeka and about their preschool curriculum. I get asked if we will do video lessons in the future, if we will utilize their Abeka Academy in the future. And my answer at this point in time is no. I've already bought my kindergarten curriculum. I'll be honest with that one. But I would not use the academy for a young child, at least. I could see utilizing some of the classes as she gets older. As we get into math that I don't know or something like that, I could see utilizing some of their classes. I don't ever see us doing full academy just because I don't think it would be a good fit for us. I don't think it would be a good option for us. To me, a lot of the point of not going to public school was to have more time, and shoving her in front of a computer for that long doesn't really do that for me. I also don't really agree with shoving a kid who is 4, 5, 6, 7 in front of a computer screen for multiple hours a day. Now, I know pre-K4 is a half day. I think kindergarten's a full day. And I couldn't imagine sitting her there for an approximately 6 to 8 hour day on the computer. For me, that's not the point of homeschool. That's not the point of keeping her not in a public school. If I was going to put her in a classroom environment like that, if I was going to want her to be doing school all day long, honestly, I would send her to school. I would find a Christian school that uses this curriculum if I really wanted to use this curriculum. I would not do that and do it as a homeschool. I wouldn't do it at home. So I feel like that one is taking away the social aspect of going to school, if that's what you're looking for, and taking them home and putting them in the same sit at your desk for 8 hours, which to me is the negative of public school, and also still not giving them the opportunity to, like, meet people. Like, at least when, I don't want to bash people who use the academy. I really don't, but it's just not for us. Like, when we're not doing school, you know, if on our school in the future will take 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever, versus 8, we can go do things and meet other kids and give her the opportunity to build friendships that obviously don't exist within the 4 walls of my home. So I would rather add on more out of the house activities in that extra time that we have than sticking her in front of a computer. But yeah, that was an extra rant, but I've gotten the question a few times of if we plan on using the academy and why we wouldn't. So there you go. If you have any more questions about that, comment them down below. But that is it for this video. I've already timed out my camera once. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you are new, welcome. Hit the subscribe button and comment down below and introduce yourself. Tell me about your kids. I would love to get to know you, know what you are doing in your life when it comes to homeschool, if you're homeschooling, if you're new, if you're debating it. Tell me everything. And also just comment down any other pros or cons that you've had with Abeka so that we can have a dialogue, go back and forth, and, you know, have a good conversation. But that is it for this video. I hope I'll see you in my next one on Tuesday. Bye, guys.